Back in March, I uploaded the final Illinois Gateway update prior to moving houses. In addition to many other things, the last few months have been spent trying to figure out what am I going to do to bring back this legendary airport that so many people enjoyed watching. Well, I'm glad to say that after finally figuring out some things, Illinois Gateway is back and better than ever. I hope you enjoyed the video. So ladies and gentlemen, let me be the first to welcome you all to the brand new Illinois Gateway International Airport. So before I completed the airport, this was about a month in the making, to be honest, because at first, when we first moved into the house, I didn't know if I wanted to bring back Illinois Gateway exactly as it was before we moved, or if I wanted to try something different. So in the end, I decided to try something different. I heard of this company on Instagram called Layover Layouts. They make custom model airport mats and everything. And so I heard a lot of good stuff about them. I thought they had some really good products, so I wanted to try them out. What you're seeing here, this is one of their pre-made mat designs. This is the medium. It's about 59 inches by 59 inches, so it's a perfect square layout, which is perfect for me because the two tables that I have here, they are about 60 by 60 inches. So there is a little bit of extra space back there, if you can kind of see it. It's about an inch of extra space, which is no big deal. But either way, the mat, like the dimensions worked out almost perfectly. And this stuff is not cheap, by the way. You might be thinking it's about $50 max, $20, $30. Nowhere near that. The mat base price for a medium size was $150 something, and with shipping it was about $170 or so dollars. But I thought it was well worth the price. The quality is very good, much better than GeminiJets' pre-made mats and anything you can really get these days. It's a absolutely amazing vinyl quality. Vinyl material. It's great quality. It feels great, and it doesn't like warp, meaning it doesn't like bend, like fold up like that, like the GeminiJets terminal mats do. Which when I had those back in like 2012, 2013, they would always be folding up like this, and it would be really annoying. So I'm really happy to have a mat that finally like flattens out all the way. It's great. So Illinois Gateway looks way different than what you guys have seen in the past. It's much smaller, of course, which I guess is kind of a good thing, because with a smaller airport, that means I have a limited amount of planes to display each update. So that makes it a bit more exclusive. It means like you don't see the whole collection every single update. You don't see the same planes every single update like you kind of usually did in the last few Illinois Gateway updates in the previous iteration of the airport. So you only see a select amount of planes every update, which is kind of cool, I guess. And if you want to check out Layover Layouts' website, I will link them in the description below so you can check out what they got in store. Plenty of great stuff. This is not sponsored. I'm just a really satisfied customer wanting to share my experience. Great stuff. The price might be a bit steep, but definitely worth the price for the quality and just the service you get. It's absolutely brilliant. So that's enough for the backstory regarding the airport. Let's go ahead and show you all around. So one thing that I was really excited to have with this new setup was a runway. For those that have been long-time subscribers, you probably are aware that I've never really had a proper runway set up in my previous model airports. I've never really had like the threshold set up and just the whole runway basically. This is not the full runway, it's like maybe a quarter of it, but I'm really excited to finally have like a proper runway incorporated into one of my model airports. It's really cool to see here. So we have one runway at this airport, 1.6 and 3.4. That's the runway here. And then you have, of course, the threshold and just the taxiways here and back here. One major loss of this setup here is that I had to sacrifice cargo. I don't have any cargo terminal, any space for it. I could use, like, for example, this space over here for cargo, but I have way more passenger aircraft than I do cargo. So it really doesn't make sense for me to just sacrifice a whole nice area for cargo when I could definitely use it for passenger. So there is no space for cargo terminals on this layout here, unfortunately, but you will probably see some cargo planes mixed in, in the updates every now and then. And another big, well, this is not regards to the layout, but as you can tell by the set, the room that I'm in, yes, there is another like furnace AC unit in the background, just like the old house. And this one, unfortunately, it never shuts off. It's always running 24/7, so you always hear the background noise. That's not something I can control. This is really the only spot in the house, in the basement actually, where I can get my own like model airport room. This entire room is just dedicated to my model airports and stuff. So, you know, it's nothing I can control really, but I did my best to drone out the sound a little bit. As you can see here, I added these like cardboard panels, which kind of do the job. They alleviate the sound a little bit, but not completely. So hopefully you guys understand, and you guys are probably used to it anyway from the previous, you know, house too. So yeah, anyway, this model airport setup comes with basically the terminal is just one big terminal building with 3 concourses. So over here is the international terminal. We have one dedicated wide body gate here, which is always used for wide bodies, and then we have 4 narrow body gates, and then we have 1 regional gate. That's a dedicated regional gate right there. So actually, let me get closer so I can show you all this in more detail. So here is the dedicated wide body gate, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 narrow body gates, but then we also have 1 wide body stand in the middle between these 2. So basically this entire setup here, it can be used for 1 wide body or 2 narrow bodies, and this is just dedicated for regional jets here. And then like I said, this right here is just for wide bodies. And this mat, the medium sized mat, it comes with 22 gates or stands. However, because of all this extra space, this is not, this gray area, this is meant to be taken over by the terminal building, but because my wood is a bit narrow, I was able to squeeze in 4 extra gates, as you can see, for regional jets, which is really cool. I'm glad to have that. So this is the international concourse here with the GeminiJets terminal building. And then in the middle here, this is what I call the rainbow concourse. I guess you can kind of see why, because of all the different colors, so all the different airlines. This is basically for all the airlines for all the US carriers, I should say, that are not United American. Well, United American also have gates here. United American are, of course, the hub airlines. However, this concourse is mainly used for, you know, Alaska, JetBlue, Southwest, Spirit, Allegiant, Delta, Frontier. These airlines, and then United and American, they have overflow parking. And United and American, they have a very, very interesting hub concept here, which is unmatched to any other model airport. I'm going to explain that real quick. So this concourse here is dedicated just for American and United. You're probably wondering, if it's dedicated to both airlines, where are the United aircraft? Well, basically, I came up with this idea of like blocks, you know, for the different hub operations. So what I'm thinking here is that from maybe 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. that's American Airlines' hub operations, and then 12 p.m. to maybe 6 p.m. that's when United's hub operations start coming in, and then from then on out they just start like mix and matching at this concourse. I had to get creative with how I could do stuff because I have a much more limited space. I have a much smaller layout, and I really wanted to keep a United and American both hub airlines here because I have so many models of both airlines. So currently we are in the American Airlines hub operations block, and then after this it'll be United, and you'll see this kind of replicated among the next few updates. Hopefully I explained that good enough for you all. So once 12 p.m. rolls around, you'll start to see more United flights start coming into this concourse, and then for overflow parking, American will use, you know, some of those gates here, and then United will switch, if that makes any sense. It's kind of complicated, but hopefully you kind of get the overall idea. And then this concourse is exactly the same as the international with regards to the gates. It's the exact like mirror image of it. The gate orientation is basically the exact same. 1 wide body gate, and then 4 dedicated narrow body gates, and then there's that 1 wide body gate in the middle there, and there's that 1 regional jet gate back there. So yeah, we have all US carriers. We also have Sun Country. I forgot to mention Sun Country's here too. And then Hawaiian, they're the only US carrier that use the international concourse because of space limitations. We don't have space here, we don't have space there, so I have to have Hawaiian use the international concourse. And then Air Canada's, obviously when Air Canada flights arrive in the US, they're treated like, you know, domestic arrivals because they get pre-clearance in Canada. So basically Hawaiian and Air Canada, they're basically the only 2 airlines that don't have to use customs immigration services when they arrive into this terminal, and that's basically it. So there's another overview of the terminal there, and yeah, I really don't know what else to say. If I didn't explain anything good enough, please let me know in the comments below. I tried my best, especially to explain the hub operations for American and United, It's kind of complicated. I hope I explained it good enough for you all to understand. If I didn't, then sorry. I can clarify it in the comments if you want me to. So I've spent way too much time talking. I think we're ready to get into the airport update, you know, with the routes and everything. So let's get started with that. So to get started here with the runway, we have this United 777-300ER. They're just coming into land on 3-4. It's doing an all-cargo flight in from Frankfurt, and he's going to take that spot where that Lufthansa 747 is back there at the international terminal. And then moving over here, holding short of the runway, we have the American Airlines Boeing 787-9, and this aircraft is getting ready for departure to Dallas-Fort Worth. Then we have the Southwest Boeing 737-700. This is a new model, actually not really new anymore. I've had actually all the new models in this update, matter of fact, I've had for a little while now, but because I haven't done a video like this in a long time, you haven't seen them before. So this is the new NG model Southwest Canyon Blue 737-700, and this aircraft will be making a departure out to Baltimore. And then over here we have the Delta Airlines Boeing 757-200, which will be making a flight down to Atlanta after coming in from Salt Lake City. And then over here we have the Sun Country Airlines Boeing 737-800 in the Tide Pod livery, and this one is headed back to Minneapolis, St. Paul. Over here we have the American Airlines Boeing 737-800 in the Chrome Retro livery. It's taxiing out for departure to New York LaGuardia. Same route that I flew this aircraft on back in 2014, very same aircraft. Chicago O'Hare to New York LaGuardia. Even though this isn't Chicago O'Hare, it's technically Chicago. And then here's another new one. This is the NG Models United 737-700, which has just landed from Newark and is just waiting for a gate to open up. That 737-900 back there is going to be pushing back soon, so he'll take that gate. And then I do have the NG Star Alliance and new livery 737-700s on order. They should be coming in soon. Then I also have the NG Models Alaska 737-900s, one world livery and standard livery. They're on their way as well, so hopefully by the next update you'll see those. Over here we have the Delta Airlines Thank You livery Airbus A321. Came in earlier from New York LaGuardia. It's making service out to Seattle Tacoma now. Then we have the United Airbus A319 headed to Washington Dulles, and it came in from there as well. Over here we got the Delta CRJ-700 taxiing out for departure to Minneapolis, St. Paul. And then over here, just after pushback, we have the Hawaiian Airbus A330-200 headed back to Honolulu. And then we'll just do the international concourse now while we're at it. So let me just move over here. Sorry, it's a bit of a tight squeeze. So over here, first off, is the Korean Air 777-300ER. And this aircraft has just come in from Seoul Incheon Airport and is just getting offloaded, as you can see, serviced and all that. And this is the GeminiJets version, quite a rare model. This is the first time I'm featuring it on the channel. I got it back in March. So yeah, it's fairly nice. 2008 release, I think, or 2009. Quite an old model, but super glad to have this, as it is pretty hard to find. And then over here we have the two Central American carriers. We have first off the Volaris Airbus A320neo, which has just landed from Guadalajara. We headed off to Mexico City in about an hour and a half. And then over here we have the Air Mexico Boeing 737-800 split 7R winglets. I think this is the first time I'm showing Aero Mexico in the Illinois Gateway updates, which is pretty cool. And this aircraft is operating to and from Mexico City. And then over here we have the Lufthansa Boeing 747-8 new livery. This is just getting ready for pushback when all the other traffic back here clears up. And this aircraft is headed back to Frankfurt. And in real life, Lufthansa has reinstated 747-8 service to Chicago O'Hare, which is really, really exciting to see because we didn't have any passenger 747 service for months, ever since Lufthansa pulled out of the 747 service back in 2020 because of the pandemic. They replaced it with the A350. So now we finally got them back, 747 service, and this is the only passenger 747 serving Chicago nowadays in real life. So I do have that replicated in my fictional airport as well. So you got the pushback tug getting ready to push this aircraft back out. And then this right here is the jetway that is exclusively used for the wide body gate. And then the narrow body gates have their own respective jetways too. And you see that same setup kind of replicated at the American/United concourse back there. And then last aircraft at the international concourse is the Air Canada CRJ-900, which just came in from Montreal. headed back out to Montreal in about an hour and a half. And the CRJ900 just took the spot of this aircraft, the Air Canada Embraer 175. Sorry for it being backlit, I should have moved to the other side, but whatever. This aircraft is pushed back and it's headed back to Toronto Pearson. Then over here we have the United Express CRJ550, and this aircraft is doing a special seasonal flight over to Charleston, South Carolina. In real life, United has added a bunch of these like leisure summer flights to various, beach, national park kind of destinations like Portland, Maine, Charleston, South Carolina, Hilton Head, South Carolina, a bunch of areas like that. And I will cover all those in Monday's video, which is going to be about Delta and United's new summer routes. So stay tuned for that. And so I've added a few of those like summer seasonal routes into my airport as well. And then over here we have the older version of the 550, the CRJ700. The 550 is just a 700 with 50 seats basically. This CRJ700 just came in from Portland, Maine, and it's going to be operating service to Washington Dulles in about an hour. Over here we got the Alaska Boeing 737 MAX 9, which is operating to and from Seattle. Like I mentioned a few minutes ago, I do have the new NG One World and regular livery 739s on the way, so perfect timing. I literally bought this and like 2 weeks later they announced the 739s, so don't know if I'll hang on to this. I probably will keep it because it is a pretty nice model, and I like the Max, so that's that. But great timing, NG, thanks for releasing that. No offense. And then over here we have the JetBlue Airbus A320 in the blueberry still with sharklets, getting heavily serviced. Just came in from New York, John F. Kennedy, headed back out to JFK. Over here, this is another new model. This is the Southwest Boeing 737-700 new livery by Panda Models, and this aircraft is operating to and from Dallas Love Field. Over here we have the Spirit Airbus A321, which is getting serviced, operating flights to and from Fort Lauderdale. Over here we have the Allegiant Airbus A320 in the new livery, and this is operating service to and from Orlando Sanford. And over here we have another new model. It's the Delta Bombardier, or should I say Mitsubishi CRJ900, operating to and from Detroit. It just pulled into the gate. The CRJ700 back there was previously parked here, but the CRJ9 just came in. And then over here is my newest one. I got this literally a few days ago. It's the brand new, somewhat newly released Frontier Airbus A321 with the Steve the Eagle. And this aircraft just came in from Orlando. We headed back out to Orlando in about 45 minutes. And then just jumping over here we have the other Frontier. This is the A320neo that you all know and love. And this is Champ the Bronco taxiing up for departure back home to Denver. Jumping back here is another A321. This time it's a Delta in the standard livery. And this aircraft is doing flights to and from Atlanta. And then over here we have the United Boeing 737-800 just pulled into the gate from Houston, and it'll be continuing service to LAX. Here's the 737-900 just about to push back for San Francisco, and came in earlier from Orlando. And just pulling into the gate here is the American Eagle CRJ700, and this aircraft is coming in on a flight, we'll say from Indianapolis, very quick flight over from Indianapolis, and it's going to head off later to Des Moines, Iowa. And so this gate is common use between American and United Express, American Eagle and United Express. And these gates are also common use American and United. Well, actually this gate is United and Delta, and can also be overflow for American. This is dedicated for Delta. This is Delta Frontier, and this is strictly Delta. And then that's Allegiant. These are all, those are all for their respective airlines. That gate back there where the CRJ7 is, I guess you could say that's exclusively United Express, or American Eagle can also use it. I really don't have a set plan. United and American, they basically use the same gates because, it is a very limited airport in terms of space. So the hub airlines, they basically use whatever they can get, and they share gates pretty much. And then here is another new model, the beautiful American CRJ900, which pushed out of that gate over there. And the procedure is they push back straight, and then they don't start their engines right here because that's right in front of the terminal, so that could be pretty dangerous. So they pull the aircraft forward a little bit, and then they start the aircraft's engines a little bit forward. They do this in Charlotte, actually in real life at Concourse E, gates like E1 and E2. They'll push the aircraft back a little bit, and then they'll pull the aircraft forward a bit away from the terminal, and then they'll start the engines a little distance away just to keep it safe. you know, not starting the engines directly in front of the terminal, like terminal windows, which would be pretty dangerous. So this is the CRJ900, brand new release, beautiful model. I did modify this one. As you can see, it's got I spaced out the landing gear a bit more evenly. If it'll focus, this camera never, there we go. So as you can see, the gear are a bit more evenly spaced out. That's how they should look like, and it looks way better. I didn't do the same with my Delta or my Air Canadas because I just, it was really hard to remove the gear in the first place for both models, so I didn't want to risk breaking them. So these both have the usual pathetic GeminiJets mold, you know, the gear way too close together, and of course my camera never wants to focus. It's really annoying. There we go. So you can see how close they are. That's how GeminiJets makes them, which is completely incorrect. But I decided to leave them like that because I really don't want to mess those two models up. But this CRJ900 is going to be making service. Let's send this guy over to, Memphis. That's probably a good one. Yeah, Memphis, and came in from, let's say, Louisville, Kentucky. Why not? Give me some options for where to send the CRJ9s, because in Chicago we don't get the CRJ900s. We're mainly CRJ7, E145, E175. We don't get the CRJ9s, so give me some ideas. I appreciate that. And then over here at the regional gate, which does only gate at this airport without a jet bridge, this is the American Eagle ERJ145, which came in from La Crosse, Wisconsin, making service. Let's send this guy to Pittsburgh, why not? Here's the Embraer 175, which came in from Albany, New York, be making service out to New Orleans. And please excuse the background noise, like the footsteps and everything. I have a family, guys. I live with my family, so that's them. Sorry about that. But again, I can't control that. So regardless, here's the American One World livery 737-800. This aircraft came in from Las Vegas, be making service onwards to Austin, Texas, which is supposedly going to be the next American Airlines focus city or hub. I recently produced a video on that earlier this week, so be sure to check that out. American has like 20 or so routes being served from Austin by this year, and for some reason they don't consider it a hub yet, which is kind of crazy. They should probably consider it a hub or focus city by now, but they're going crazy in Austin, because Austin is a pretty big, quickly growing mega city. And then over here is the American Airbus A321, which came in from Los Angeles, continuing down to Miami. Here's the standard livery 737-800, which came in from Philadelphia, and we'll head over to Charlotte. And here we have Big Mama 777-300ER getting heavily serviced, and this aircraft came in from London Heathrow, and it'll be operating came in from Heathrow, be operating service out to Honolulu, because why not? They do 777s from DFW. From O'Hare, they're doing strictly 787. It was a 777-200 for some time. But from DFW and Charlotte, they're doing 777s. I think Phoenix as well. Phoenix is also a 777-200. But the 777-300ERs, you mainly see those flying from DFW. But I really wanted to incorporate 333 from my airport, HNL, which is my old hometown airport. For those that don't know, Honolulu was my first ever hometown. I was born there and I lived there. So, of course, a very, very special place to me. And this aircraft I actually flew on in real life, 735 AT. From DFW Hong Kong back in 2019, and you can see the video in the top right corner from Dallas to Hong Kong. If you want to see that video, it's in the top right corner. But yeah, beautiful model. It's a very special model to me. Came in from Heathrow. It's going to go to Hong Kong. Alright, so all that talking later, finally we have reached the end of this inaugural Illinois Gateway Airport update, I guess you could say. Please let me know what you think about the new airport setup. I would appreciate your feedback and comments, and if you want to do subscriber routes, please comment those below. We can definitely do something. Just please make it realistic. I don't want to have I don't want to do a Southwest 737 going from here to like London. Like, come on, that don't make no sense. So if you want any subscriber routes, you should have the model on your end too, so we can both have that model doing subscriber routes between our airports. So again, if you do want to do a subscriber route, comment any aircraft you want below. Preferably like American or United, any airline that I have a hub with, so maybe American or United or Delta, and we can do something. I tend to not do the non-hub airlines and international airlines, because I want to keep those realistic. So if you have like American or Delta or United models and you want to do a subscriber route, let me know. So yeah, I want to do updates on this at least once a month. That's my good commitment, since I already have I only have 3 airports currently: Lahore, St. Thomas, and this one. So I'll try to rotate in between those 2 airports every Friday. So we'll see how that goes. But that is it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed the new Illinois Gateway. I think it looks fantastic, but let me know your thoughts on it. And hopefully I'll explain more on any areas that I missed about the airport in the next update. But until then, thank you so much for watching. Smash that like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.